Hey guys, Big Sexy here. Just wanted to tell you all about the 1623 Sandlot League coming up here in Perth from January the 28th to the 30th. It's an exciting 3 days, lots of games, day of testing. There's even going to be a home run derby. So go and check it out at 1623 Baseball. Check out the website 16, that's the word, 16, the numbers 23, 2 and 3.net. Go and have a look. Going to be plenty of amazing coaches there for the little fellas and the little girls, of course, getting around the fields. Go and check it out. The Sandlot League, brought to you by 1623 Baseball, coming up this January. Going to be exciting.
It's an old baseball saying, a bloop and a blast.
Bloop and a blast.
Bloop and a blast. Big Sexy, Luke Hughes.
Going back. This ball's back and gone in his first major league at bat. Luke Hughes hits a home run. What a moment for Luke Hughes. What a moment for Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Bloop and a Blast podcast. My name is Big Sexy. I am the Bloop. I lived up to my namesake yesterday. I did get a little Bloop single. His name is Luke Hughes. He is the Blast. I tell you what, if you were playing yesterday, Hughes, you probably would have hit one out somewhere, mate. How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm good. I do have to say, last week I did take 5 swings at training. I thought I'd jump in there, finally hitting on the field. Essendon Baseball Club is all up and running. AstroTurf has been laid. It is getting nice and prepped for the national tournament coming up. And
Unreal.
I do have to say, I swung and missed at the first one and got jammed 4 times. I took a 6. Actually, I snuck a 6 one in there and got jammed again. I thought, you know what? The boys have had enough time laughing at me and made a fool of myself. So I thought, that's it. I'll put the cue in the rack, and that's probably me done for the year.
Have you been doing your fungo, the side toss fungo thing?
Yeah, the boys love it.
That's elite. It's so good. It's a bit machine gunny, but that's all right. We'll take it.
Just hit rockets all over the place, and the boys enjoy that one. To be honest with you, it's a bit of a challenge, and it's more realistic. I like it. It's something we did, something else we did with the Twins, and it just is more realistic. The ball comes off like a proper batted ball by a hitter. So add that one into your repertoire, coaches.
Yeah. For anyone at home that doesn't know what we're talking about, Hughesy will be there with a fungo. You can do it, fungo, or even just a bat, doesn't really matter. And someone just like soft tossing from the side, almost like a little T-ball pop up, right? He'll just hit absolute linears at you if you're if you're on the infield. But it is good. It's core Hughesy memories, from our limited time together here at the Morley Eagles. But hey, mate, we got a pretty fun show to talk about tonight. Today, whenever you're listening to this, of course, we are going to be back on the Tuesday drops. We apologise for last week, but we're back. And speaking of last week, before we get into all of the happenings around the ABL, it was a pretty exciting weekend in some regards, but we've got to go back to last episode because I have something to bring up. I was thinking about it at the ballpark. I went and saw some Heat games. I saw 3 games this weekend. It was a lot of fun. And I don't think that what I saw was because of what we'd said, but we'll get into that. So obviously last week on the podcast, we were talking about the entertainment factor and what that means and how maybe it's just not up to scratch. And I do have to go back and think about it, right? So a couple of things we were talking about, like music and entertainment at the games, and you mentioned that Melbourne Aces were probably the best at it, and that's fair. But I do have to give props because we were sort of throwing a few teams under the bus. I will say this, mate. Perth Heat, they did actually do an Akadaka night here, and they did have some live entertainment as well. And I must say, this weekend at the ballpark, I don't think it was reactive to what we said because I don't think they really care that much about what we said, to be honest. But I sat there and I sat there on Friday night and Saturday, the 2 games, and I had to eat my own words because I tell you what, there was so much happening at the ballpark. I will be brutally honest. There was activations in between each inning. Obviously, there was a lot more kids and a lot more families at the ballpark. You could feel it. A really, really good vibe. There was hot dog eating competitions. In between the double header on Saturdays, Luke, they had 2 little pedal carts and they had kids go around the cutout from first base to third base, like a little drag race. It was awesome. Just a few different things. They had big screen trivia, right? Now, I didn't play. But I was keeping score and I would have damn well won the thing, right? So there was a lot of that. It was a lot of fun and just fan cam, another thing that was quite interesting. Basically, you scan the QR code and you get yourself up on the big screen. Now, I know it doesn't necessarily answer your question of what is the entertainment? Is it a soloist? Is it this and that? But it's something. It's signs of life. And I tell you what, it felt like I was getting smashed in the face with activations and just little bits from inning to inning every single time. And of course, the regular diamond dash that happens and has happened for years. No, we didn't have fireworks in Perth, but I don't know if you could. It's probably too hot and too much of a risk, right? But it was pretty good, mate. So I have to eat a little bit of humble pie, and I have to tell you this. And maybe it is a fact that we aren't seeing enough of what's happening between innings. I do want to go back here and talk about a little comment that we got on Facebook before I ask for your thoughts and we dive a little deeper into it, Luke. I did see this out of Adelaide. Phil Herden, he commented on one of our Facebook posts at Bloop Blast Podcast on all socials. Had to get this cheeky plug in there. He said, having seen most Giants games over the past 11 years, their home game activations this summer have been as good as any in recent years, and I think they've actually taken it up a notch. Finn has been a huge addition and works his tail off. The club kids involved in the introductions have been at record numbers, and the crowd events between innings always get a laugh. That said, Adelaide have only had 2 Friday and 1 Saturday openings thus far, so I understand, Hughesy, why you may have missed this. I'll make sure to point them out to you during the next home match broadcast on Boxing Day. So that's awesome. But it is.
First off, I won't be tuning in on Boxing Day. I'll be taking in the Boxing Day test here in Melbourne. But hey, who knows? Maybe I come home and just roll on the baseball with the family in town. So no, look, I have to say, it's great to hear those comments from Phil. It's also great to hear your comments from Perth. I say stuff because you can play it. I just want better, and I'm glad the Heat are doing it. I'm sure. Here we go. Q.
No, sorry. I
want better. Be better.
Sorry, my bad. It's slow.
It's great to hear that, right? And have they been doing it all season? Was it ready from game day dot? I know there was new ownership and new people in place in Perth and in Sydney. So I'm glad to hear there has been some progression in that space. And it is hard to draw crowds early in the season while, school's still going on and all that stuff like that. So, it's good to see the fans seem like they really enjoyed it. I did tune in on Saturday night and watch a bit of that game and did see the Diamond Dash across the outfield and did seem that there was a lot more kids there. So that's positive signs all around. I think there was about 1,150 plus people there on Saturday, which is great.
Good crowd too.
Yeah.
So
that's what I said, 1,150. That's a good crowd, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, no, what I meant was it was good vibes is what I was saying. It wasn't just people sitting there on their hands. They were involved in the game. They were up and about. It was a good game on that second game on Saturday night. We'll get into that. But yeah, look, I just wanted to bring it up because obviously we were hypercritical of it last week. And then I I always try to see two sides of the story. Right, I try to think about it a little bit more and say, hey, maybe I was wrong, but also you raise a good point. It did take it. We are in round 6 now. We've only got a few. I have to double check to give you the exact number, but I can't imagine we've got too many more home series, right? Especially here in Perth. But again, it's one of those things. Valid point, right? As far as bringing up, hey, why hasn't it been ready from day one? We get there's new ownership. It is what it is, but. Yeah, I had to put that out there.
Glad to hear it, mate. No, I'm glad to hear it,
It was really, really good. It was really, really good. It was a good time. Yeah.
I'm just having a quick check here. I think Perth Heat have one more. Well, they got round 9 and 10.
9 and 10, yeah. I feel like I've been on the road.
So, look, that's great to hear, right? And hopefully we continue to see that develop and be better and that draws more people. They enjoy it more. There's things always happening, which is great. I've watched some Adelaide games this year. I think I'll watch a lot more now that RG6 is back in town, ready to take it.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. And the other thing I did want to square off again in regards to last episode, and this was obviously our discussion points around the media type of things. We had a few people message us about, hey, there was this, there was that. Look, I guess where Luke and I were going, and we didn't really explain ourselves well enough, to be fair. But you got to remember we're just a couple of blokes that talk to each other on the internet once or twice a week. All right, so it's not like we're proper media trained human beings. We're just two guys that wanted to do a podcast because there was nothing else going around. All right, but to be fair, well, you probably got more media training than me. You're a big leaguer, Luke, and that's fair. Uh, but what we were talking about with the news side of things is we wanted to see more of these big signings in cut through into the mainstream news. Okay, we know the local sort of BA. We're talking about that ABL, all those guys. They're doing posts and things like that. Why can't we get through to those bigger news outlets like we saw when Travis Bazzana drafted number one? Right? Was it all over it everywhere like it kind of should have been? Probably not. That is a huge deal. But also to see these guys coming in, like it would be great to see a couple of these stories sprinkled into your big outlets. I also understand too that a lot of these big newsrooms and most journalists, right, to be fair, they don't know how to talk about baseball. They're not aware of the game and the intricacies, and they basically treat it like cricket and whatever. But let's start it. Let's do it. Let's get it out to these people. Just get it out to the mainstream, because that's sort of what we were talking about. No, we weren't saying, whatever, but that's sort of where we were going with it. Am I right there, Luke?
Yeah, I wasn't talking about the Baseball Australia or ABL at all. I think they've stepped up their game, and Eric's done a great job within that space since he's been involved with Baseball Australia as an overall collective. And it was more driven at, the mainstream on the news in the paper type thing. And we know they're sending out a lot of information to these news outlets. Eric's doing a lot. I saw an email the other day of what he sends through and stuff like that. So it's good to see. It's just, I just would love to see it, find its way into the paper probably a little bit more. And I'm sure, other states probably do have the ability to be in the paper and have been in the paper, right? Which is great. The tough thing about baseball, the lingo is so hard for a foreign person or foreign person to the game to get right. And I remember, years ago, we were in the West Australian every week, and I was doing a bit of an article and with a guy with a journo there in Perth and putting it together and each week, and that was, I had fun doing that. That was great, right? But the jargon is tough, right? And if you get it wrong, it just makes the article look so cheap and wrong. So it does probably take someone with the baseball knowledge and the lingo to be able to, one, help, or two, write it for them, which I think's maybe happening throughout the league and stuff like that. So look, it wasn't a dig at anyone to do with Baseball Australia or the ABL teams. I think the ABL teams as a collective have really done a good job with that. I think Adelaide and do a good job. Sydney's also, stepped its game up within their media space and the content that they're providing the public and the fans, which is great, right? I like to see that trickle over. And I think we saw a little bit of that from the Perth Heat, which obviously they were in town in Sydney. So I'm sure they filmed some things. It looked like they filmed some things over there, which is great, right? And I enjoy all the funny clips and all the stuff they do. So I'm looking forward for those teams to continue to, I guess, develop that side of it and bring the fun side to the game and the personalities in the team and let them shine, because these teams have great personalities throughout them all, right? And I love to find out more about those players and hear more about their stories and the journeys of what they've done and the career path they've taken, right? So, yeah, I think within time it'd be great. But look, we've only got 4 weeks left of the season, don't we?
I was just thinking that, man. Like, it kind of sucks. Like, everything's sort of amping up right now. And wouldn't it be great if this was a 20-week season or a 15-week season? I know it's not going to work this year because obviously we're moving closer to the WBC. But it's like, man, like we're at this point, it's like, and then it's going to be all gone. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a shame, but yeah, look, there we go. Also, I do have to say this. Of course, we've gone and said last week that Brisbane were underperforming. I ran into a few of the Brisbane Bandits. They came in for a coffee, and I tell you what, mate, it was pretty awkward. I was like, "Oh, hi guys, how you going?" Yeah, no, it's, no, you don't listen to the podcast, do you? Sorry about that. They were bloody huge, mate. They were towering over me, going, "Hey, how's this for underperforming?" Also, Friday night game, Rickson hit a dinger. I think you find bloody Dermott hit a dinger. Camden Perry went out and shoved. And I feel like they were, like, as far as anything goes, sticking it back to us. definitely the Bandits were trying to stick it fair right up us. And Jimbo did actually mention, he said, hey, I hope Luke was watching. I hope Luke was watching. So it was
You
always.
know, I love it. You know, I love all that stuff. And sometimes, look, you just got to give them a little prod along the way. And I'm happy they responded with that. And, you know, Rickson did crush that ball, by the way.
Oh, mate. I saw it. I was getting some food. I'd heard it, turned around, watched the ball sail. I was like, it's gone. Yeah, that's Rickson. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, there you go. So I'd love to see the comments this week. Everyone's going to say, just freaking turn around on what they said. No, we're just sort of clarifying a few things. I will be fair, though. I will say that the in-game activations and stuff at the Perth Heat this weekend were fantastic. And, I did have to eat my words a little bit, so I think that's fair. Well, I mean, what is it, though, just that? Like, is it like musos for you? It's just something, isn't it? Like,
it's just something. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I know you're not
is,
a big fan of the furry night, but you know,
I just like stuff happening, you know, and to hear the different activations happening every inning, every other inning, you know, that's good to see. Get fan engagement, get the people enjoying it, get the kids enjoying it, get them, you know, involved with the game. That's good. I'm great. It's great to hear that, right? So hopefully they can continue that. I'm just a little bit disappointed that, you know, we don't hit the ground running round one and have it all fired up to be able to just push through with it. But anyway, the teams look like they're doing a better job. So good on you guys.
Let's move on. Let's look around at what happened in round 6. Of course, we'll start with the Adelaide Giants and Sydney. It ended up as a push. Adelaide Giants went up to Sydney. Game 1, 19-8. Sydney gets up over Adelaide. That's a bit of a slugfest. Wellesley gets a win there, moves him to 5-1 on the year. Jack O'Loughlin unfortunately takes the loss. Sydney drop a couple of big innings, a few big innings on Adelaide in that one. Game 2, Sydney again, 3-2 on the back of Landon Barassa. A nice little game there. We're moving on. Again, though, Saturday, it was all Giants. Adelaide Giants take 2 there to split the series. What a big weekend to go up to Sydney again. It's Pushville, little Splitsville for Sydney. They're just going to sit pretty up the top there. But a few things have changed in the background as we move over here because the Perth Heat had the Brisbane Bandits over here, over west. And another big performance from Tucker Smith on the Thursday night as the Perth Heat get up 6-2. As well as moving on into game 2, of course, Camden Perry, as discussed. It was all Bandits that game on the Friday night, 11-0. The Saturday night, look, a couple of interesting things. Game 1 of the doubleheader on Saturday, Perth Heat got up 3-2. Some really, really good pitching performances. We saw Lozovoy, the import that's come back, hasn't thrown for a few years. He sort of come back in that sort of relief role sort of thing after a start from Was there, but he did quite well and he actually picked up the win. And of course, the second game of the doubleheader was an absolute nail biter. It was a great game of baseball to watch on the Saturday night. It was back and forth, man. I tell you what, we were like, oh no, here we go with Daunt, and guys got back. And a really, really, really good performance from Christian Hausler, who is a young Wanneroo kid from here in Perth. And I saw his first outing that he had here for the Perth Heat earlier this season. And he sort of looked a little nervous, right, as you would be. But I tell you what, on the mound, man, he looked nasty on Saturday night. And really, really big performance from him to come out and just shut the door. So Perth Heat take the series against the Bandits here in Perth. And sort of makes me. I'm going to dive into. I'm actually going to do some research this week, Luke, and in the holidays. And I'm going to go back and look and see if I can sort of pinpoint it because obviously the Perth Heat just won here, but I feel like they're more of a road warrior team. There you go. I feel like their long-term sort of win-losses have been more on the road over the last sort of few years. So there you go. There's something for you because we do know that it was always a fortress back in your day. Coming out over west. So I don't know. Anyway, it's just some food for thought. I'll do some homework. I promise. One time I'll come prepared to this podcast.
No, like I think that Brisbane Perth series could have gone either way, right? Yeah. 2 1-run ball games to finish off the last 2 games. Each team had opportunities to score some more runs, and essentially Perth Heat and Hauser in the fourth game, was able to throw 4 and third and punched out 5 guys. And I think he gave up 2 hits, right? So it's a hell of an effort from a young fella to go out there and do that on the ABL stage. So he just looks like he's continuing to improve. So might have found a good young fella right there. I'm not sure what he's off to do next year or anything like that. So I'll have a little look into that and talk to some people, see what his plans are for next year. But, it's 2 one-run ball games could go either way. And Perth Heat were able to do it. And with the Sydney Blue Sox, like that first game was wild. I think there was 29 base runners for Sydney throughout that game, which is huge. And, it's the guy that probably, in that series that probably needs to get going is, good old Jackie O'Loughlin. He probably needs to find his stuff and for Adelaide to kind of push through. But Adelaide do have some reinforcements coming in this week for the next series. So going to be bolstered by having RG6 join the team, Josh Hendrickson join the team, and 3 Phillies prospects too. So different look for the team moving forward in those last 4 series. So I'm really keen to see what happens and how that lineup shakes up and what they provide. And they could make a run out. I said they'll make a run out. I think it was like 2 episodes ago. So I'm interested as a close watch on them to see if they can, I guess challenge Sydney Blue Sox. But everyone's within a game of each other, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I think it is. So it's definitely tighten up over the weekend and makes these last 4 rounds very, very exciting.
Well, that's what we're looking at here. I'm looking at it now. Sydney's 5.5 games out in front. Giants second, Bandits are half a game behind them, and Perth Heat are 1 game behind the Giants. So it's very, very tight. It's 10 and 12, 10 and 13, 9 and 13. So I tell you what, it's going to be an interesting one to watch, especially the now moving into round 7. We're going to see Perth Heat go over to Adelaide, and of course Sydney are going to go up to Brisbane. I tell you, if Brisbane can knock off Sydney at home, I tell you, man, it's a nice little. I don't know. It's just going to be an interesting little weekend. So let's move into it. Of course, you're talking about Adelaide getting RG6 back, best free agent hitter in the country. I think you said one time. So that'll be exciting to watch, and I'm excited to watch that series as well. Let's talk about it. Let's go into it. Of course, we got Sydney going up to Brisbane. What are you thinking, Luke? Where are you going? What are you thinking? Who have you got?
Oh, look, it's always a tough ballpark to play at. We understand that. I think the pitching staff of Sydney do a better job of getting the ball on the ground and stuff too. So, I'm leaning obviously towards Sydney within this series. Brisbane did show a lot more. The Fridge had a great series last week. It's good to see him pop a few out and see the flow of the hair jogging around the bases there. So that's, and Perko had a great series too. I think he got a hit in most games, and I think he had 3 in the last. So, he had another great series. Rickson, looks like he's swinging the bat better. Well, he swing the bat good this season. Don't get me wrong. I just like to see for Brisbane to kind of win this series this weekend. I think Rickson's got to pop at least 3 or 4 out, to be honest with you. That to really give themselves an opportunity, and it's a ballpark that he can easily do that at, right? So, it should be an interesting weekend, but I'm leaning towards Sydney.
Ricks, I've seen him in person now this season. Obviously, we're talking about how good he's looking and all the work he's done in the off-season. He passes the eye test, mate. He looks like a stud. I'll tell you what. I said to my mate, I was sitting there watching the game, I go, don't you reckon he'd look like a slugger in a movie in any era? So he looked like it in the 90s. He looked like it in the 2000s. I tell you what, he's looking pretty good. So good on you, Ricks. But I really want to say Brisbane here just to really throw a cat amongst the pigeons. So I'm going to do it. Let's go. I'm going to tip Brisbane. Tip Brisbane for a series win at home. I think they played great baseball, and to be honest, as you said, I think a couple of 1-run games there for Perth Heat. Those games could have gone either way. In a ballpark like Brisbane, I think a few more balls probably get out as we know. So, let's do it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to go Brisbane this weekend against Sydney.
Is it interesting to talk about the Sydney Blue Sox? Yeah, okay, they've got a slugger or 2, but most of their guys are, call it more contact hitters. You kind of said it well a few weeks ago where they manufacture runs really well. It'd be interesting to see offensively how they approach playing there, if anything changes. And if they, change their game. So I'm sure Brook won't. They play the way they play. But I always say you got to play to your ballpark. And, playing in Sydney compared to playing in Brisbane is completely different. It's just a different ballpark. Obviously, we understand it's a bit smaller in Brisbane, so generally the scores are a bit higher when teams play there, and you do see an influx of home runs. But that's fun. That's fun for the fans. It's fun for the Outlaws to be able to cheer their team on, and so it'll just be interesting to see how both teams react this weekend.
Also, too, we made a little joke about it last week, but we never actually wound back to it. Huge shout out to the Outlaws. Go and check out their Instagram page at outlaws.bbsc or something like that. They did a really good takeoff of Luke there with the background looking like a Queen album. It was very, very funny. Was it Queen? Yeah, no. Yeah, so
and I've changed my colour of my shirt. I've gone with the brown one tonight, and so the boys can't get on me.
Yeah, they can't get you because they loved singing this, I think.
Short fuse.
Oh my god, that's Luke.
Short fuse.
All right, sorry, we can't do that. We can't do that. Let's move on to the next series. It is, of course, Perth going over to Adelaide, and wowee, if Perth can continue on the form that they're in, but. Luke, you're talking about these big names coming back for Adelaide. I think I've got a pretty good idea of who you're going to tip this weekend. But go on, tell me who you got.
No, it's. I think Perth played better, right? They swung the bats really well. Their top four looks really good. They seem to be leading the way offensively for the team. Alex had a good series, great series. Seems like he's hitting the ball really hard, looks really patient in the box. Last week, I think Eric put out for Baseball Australia the players to watch and, who's leading the team. And, of course, Alex is that guy. He's won a Helms Award before. He's producing again and, he's got to be in that chat. We start talking about the Helms Award soon and, he'd definitely be in that chat within those top three players in the league, I think. So, yeah, it's a tough one, right? RG6 coming back after not playing any games for a while. So, you kind of expect him maybe to be a little bit rusty and take a few at-bats to get going. Interested to see how these Phillies prospects are and dive into them a little bit more and to see, what they add to that team, which is, of course, is going to be pretty electric, I reckon. So, yeah, look, I'm going to go Perth. All right, I'm going Perth.
I thought you were on the Adelaide train for sure.
No, I like what they did, getting Warwick a start in that, that 7-inning game. I think that was also good to see.
Tucker stepped up huge. You know what I mean?
Last 2 weeks, mate. Last 2 weeks, he's pitched really, really well, and it looks like he's found his groove too. So him and Alex look like they're on the same page with what they're doing. So with him going game one, was sliding back into that starting rotation. It'd be interesting to see if the import that pitched 2 weeks ago comes back onto the roster, or if they leave on Lavoie. Grosjean, see what they do there.
Well, they're in South Australia.
Yeah, so and there's obviously no Staley games going on too, so you might see him float back onto that roster. We'll see, and yeah, I'm leaning towards Perth at this stage, and I am.
Yeah, me too. I think that too, and I said last week that Tucker sort of has been a little bit hit or miss. He'll have a good start, and the next one or couple won't be. But for him to back it up, man, maybe you're right. Maybe they have worked something out and have that guy at the top of the rotation. We know he's nasty. We know he's got sick stuff. Like, let's see him go and shove for the rest of the season. Like, get on the back, boys. I got Thursdays for you. It's all good. You hand the ball to Woz on a Friday, and then you got Bowie game 3, and then you got Kieran Hall on game 4. I mean, pretty good rotation. If you can get innings out of these guys, we know the bullpen's a bit of an issue, right? To be fair, but I don't know, pretty nasty.
What will be interesting watch this weekend with Perth and is how, I guess, they use Warwick, and if they're playing a Friday double dip Saturday Sunday game this week, and
no Thursday game. No, there's a Boxing Day game. I thought there was.
Nah, well.
Oh yeah, apologies. You got a good point. Play on.
So what's an interesting take now would be how some of these teams kind of adjust being Friday double dip Saturday Sunday instead of Thursday Friday double dip Saturday, right? So I think that potentially could change the way the managers look at their rotation. I think, depending if they need Warwick Friday night, to close the game out, they'll probably use him. And then, does the Sunday starter adjust to come forward to the Saturday? Potentially for Warwick to go out. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
Sorry.
And if he doesn't, does Warwick go and start one of those games either on Saturday or Sunday? So I think if he does come in and close on Friday night, there's a potential you will see him start on Sunday, and they might bump the Sunday starter forward, right? So I think there's a bit of a watch there, and Warwick has the ability to be able to do that. So yeah, that's my take this weekend. It'd be interesting to see if there's a juggle with how they approach their starting pitching this weekend.
Yeah, fair. Sorry for interrupting you, Luke.
That's okay. I just had to get my point in.
Be better. I should be better for that. That's my bad. It's a good point. Although yeah. It's nasty that Woz can just go, right? Like he's not at the beginning of his career again. You know what I mean? Like he's got some innings in the arm, and he's still just, hey, give me the ball. Doesn't matter. I'm surprised he didn't pitch again on Saturday night, but anyway, that's all right. Yeah, so I'm obviously going to go Perth Heat as well in that one. So interesting points, a lot to watch, and of course it is Christmas time, so we do wish all of you a merry and happy and safe Christmas holiday period, whatever it is. Look, honestly, that's about it. That's all I've got for this week. Is there anything else that you wanted to say to the fine people of the baseball community, Luke?
Yeah, I think it's come now crunch time, right? The second half of the season. And, you got to take your wins when you have the ability to do that. And I think you start seeing some different things. Teams going after wins when they can. And, teams are trying to make ground. They're trying to solidify themselves in that second spot, which they need to. So when you can bank wins, you got to bank wins, right? And that Sunday might start to shuffle around a little bit. And you might see some teams change a few things up, bit of a shorter leash on some guys. I think that the managers now know who they have and who they can trust. And so I do think the pitching staffs will start to juggle, and you will see maybe some different things from these coaches moving forward for the second half, right? So it's so tight, it's such a tight race now, and we do start to look at playoffs, and we do start to look at who we think, and currently it's pretty open, right? Which I guess the Australian Baseball League really likes, and that's something that, they always wish there's come towards the last round or two. They want more than, a team being able to make that second spot to play in the finals. They'd love to have all of those three teams chasing down the Sydney Blue Sox in the back end of the year. It makes for more enjoyment at the ballpark when there's something you're playing for. If so teams eliminated, early in the season and can't make the playoffs, that, kind of changes and shifts the mentality of the playing group. So it's great to see that there is three teams chasing down Sydney, and they're all in the hunt, and it can go either way, and they all can win and make the playoffs too, right? So, yeah, different look at Adelaide this weekend. Interesting to see that. I think Perth Heat will change a few things up, see how that goes. Sydney will roll by the sounds of it. I'm not sure if they've got any new players coming in. It's obviously, we're recording and dropping on a Tuesday, so some rosters will be announced, in the next day or two. So we'll look forward to seeing if there's any fresh faces from those other teams. I'm not sure of anything yet. I haven't seen anything on social media as yet. So that's a watch for me. Merry Christmas to everybody. And I'm not sure if we're going to record next week or whatever.
We may not. We probably won't. We'll see. We'll see.
Got the family in town, mate. So
nice.
Made the trek across the Nullarbor. No, they're not driving. They're flying. So
I do too. I've got my mum and dad here. They got to watch me in person. Watch mum's a tragic. She'll always watch on Game Changer, the baseball games. But they came to a Morley game yesterday, so that was really, really cool, really special. So I got some family here for this week, and you can probably hear them out the back outside. They're having a yarn. They're having a good time. I'm
saying hurry up.
Yeah.
Probably saying hurry, get off, come have a
get
drink.
In here, come and cook dinner. But no. Look, one other thing I wanted to ask you. Mm-hmm. What's the timeline here? When are we going to start to see some WBC announcements as far as the squad and all of that? I know we've got a few guys, but we should be due, shouldn't we?
I think it's getting closer, right? I think there's a 35 man being selected. Nothing's been made public to anyone yet, as of yet. So I know a few guys that obviously have made that 35 man squad. I do think it's quite difficult to cut those remaining players. I think there's a lot of similar offensive players that are probably vying for the bench spots, especially I think the starting, well, I call it 10. I reckon there's 10 someone's going to have to sit. I'm not sure who. I think there's a clear 10, and therefore, the remaining, depending if I think they take 14 position players, I think, off the top of my head. Maybe it's not, maybe it's more. We'll find out. So I think there's a lot of players here, especially in these last 4 weeks of the season, that need to, take a step forward, claim on those spots, and it'd be interesting to see who they essentially take. Do they take some younger guys from some experience, get some experience of going away with the national team, playing in the biggest tournament in the world for baseball? That'll be an interesting take to see what they do in that space. So yeah, I reckon you'll find, this will come out probably January sometime, early January.
I'm going to say something right now. I don't think they do. I think they take the best, because we've got a pretty competitive side, right? Would you argue and say that this might be our best chance in a number of years, right? With the names and people that we've got, if they're all available?
I think there's a clear 10, right? There's a clear 10 players that are selected that I can sit there and say these 10 are the top 10. But I think the next group are very similar, right? So do you take a guy that's 25 to 28 or 30 that has similar numbers to a 19, 20-year-old? Do you take one or two of the younger guys for experience? If it's a bit of pretty much a like for like, you always like experience. You always like players that have been there and done it, of course. But I still think there's an element that you need to sneak a young player or two into the roster to show them what it's about. So when these guys finish up playing, the next wave is ready to come through, and the next leader on that team is ready to come through.
Yep, fair enough. There you go. So keep your eyes out for that, of course. I mean, another thing I had to tell you too, a little bit of TK watch. I was up in the bleachers at a Perth Heat game with my binoculars, and I might have seen the GOAT, the absolute greatest of all time, playing catch out there, moving around. He didn't have his spikes on in between games on Saturday, but he was throwing catch, and he was doing some run-throughs and stuff. So the hammy, not the hammy, sorry, it's the knee, isn't it? He might be backing around it pretty soon. So that's sort of that was really, really positive. So anyways, TK Watch, new segment. Keep an eye on it. There you go. Really appreciate you guys so much for watching and listening. Of course, we do actually have to give you some news as well. We've held on to it for a number of weeks, and we want to announce what's going to be a part of the 1K follower prize giveaway. That's the longest name in the world. I'm going to let them know, Luke. I'm going to tell them.
Please do.
We're going to give away a custom glove thanks to Hester Sports Brand. Go and check them out at Hester Sports Brand. We'll put a link in there, and we'll tell you guys how to win when we get to that 1K followers. So go and give us a follow if you're not already. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. If you're only following us on Facebook, we appreciate you. But go and download Instagram, sign up, and become a follower, because that's the only way you're going to get a chance to win a custom glove when we reach the 1K giveaway. As well as, do you want to announce what you're giving away, Luke? Or
an Ossport voucher value of $100.
Wow.
Thanks to Johnny out there at Ossport. Thanks, mate, for supporting. He's always been a big supporter of myself, and maybe a little bit less now that I'm over at Essendon and not at Blackburn. It might be not as positive when I come in there and coach against them. No, he's a ripper. So thanks to Johnny at Ossport. And what else we have? We got got a Luke Hughes Australian team jersey.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
So, someone will probably be happy to win that and just cut it up and film it and probably send it back to me. But a few of our listeners that don't enjoy our conversations. But
no, the boys up at the Outlaws will win it and they can wear it.
Oh, how good would that be?
They better be following us. And, of course, I'm actually going to part ways with one of my favourite things. This is how much I love you guys for listening to our podcast. And I'm actually going to give away my Manny Ramirez Sydney Blue Sox jersey. So there you go. That's pretty wild. Number 24, when Manny nearly didn't play for Sydney. You're not going to get the signed bat. That's on my wall. So there you go. Not a chance of that. But this is just Manny Ramirez jersey. It's got the Ramirez name, number 24 on the back, Sydney Blue Sox on the front. So pretty cool stuff. But there you go. That's what we're going to give away for our 1K followers. Of course, the grand prize is the custom glove, thanks to Hester Sports Brand. So we appreciate those guys so much for jumping on. And we will give you guys, we're at 9:25-ish now. We'll give you guys, there'll be a post out on socials sometime this week that'll explain everything for you and how to win and how it's all going to work. So we appreciate you so much. If you haven't already, make sure you go and check us out at Bloop Blast Podcast, of course, on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are also on the YouTube. Go and hit like and subscribe. Go and do all those things. YouTube's coming along nicely, Luke. Nicely. People are watching. People are enjoying. And, of course, big shout-out to our UK listener who's over there on Spotify. Still don't know if they're real, but anyways, I'd also love you to change your name on Spotify UK listener to the UK listener instead of all the ones and the 9 and the 0 and whatever. Anyways, that's it from us. Have a safe, Merry Christmas. We appreciate you guys so much. There's only one way to finish this show.
Adios, muchachosos. Adios, muchachosos.
Wouldn't work for me. Have a Merry Christmas, guys. Take care.
It's an old baseball saying, a bloop and a blast.
Bloop and a blast.
Bloop and a blast. Big Sexy, Luke Hughes.
Going back. This ball's back.